Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Did I say the show is brought to you by Better Water LLC? Did I do that already?
You have now?
All right. BetterWater.com. You know why you need the water filters. Everybody needs those water filters.
A concussion while you were having that accident?
No.
Okay.
No. My neck hurts, though. My neck
yeah.
hurts. Usually when I get in here, it's just my back hurting.
Wait, why does your back hurt?
Well, carrying the team.
Oh, yeah.
God.
So now it's just a little bit more north. But yes, what a morning I've had.
I'm just glad to see you're okay.
Yeah, and you know what? Even when I'm late, I somehow end up on time. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Isn't that great? Yeah, no, it's been a morning. I got rear-ended, and I said, hey man, you all right? Everything good? Because listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm very low stress, and well, I'm sure you guys get that with my vibe. So like, I get rear-ended. I've been rear-ended before, and like the lady that rear-ended me, like I gave her a hug. I'm like, it's okay. Like we're gonna get through this.
Aw.
And like, so like that's me usually in accidents. And then today I said, what's up, man? You all right? And I just get a blank stare. I'm like, speak English? He said no. I was like, all right. And then he pulled out the Google Translate app and he said, I'm going to go. You call me if you need anything. I said, no. We wait. And I pointed at the ground. Then I called Highway Patrol. And the guy didn't have a license, and he didn't speak any English. And I'm not jumping to any conclusions, but conclusions were made. So that was my morning. I mean, we already explained it on the cross. I don't really want to like do this all day because nobody really cares. Like, and a part of me, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I get rear-ended by an illegal alien? I'm like, the problems are so small. Like I've met Rachel Marin's mom, Patty, who lost her daughter to an illegal alien and now has 5 grandkids without a mom. And this stuff doesn't really seem big at all.
Puts things in perspective, doesn't it? It's
okay. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give the police any grief. I think that they did what they had to do. I'm just annoyed. I'm just a little perturbed.
Yeah,
but,
understandably so.
Yeah, but whatever. We'll move on. It's whatever. Nothing I could have done.
You're alive.
Hey,
able to make another day.
We'll keep going. So the big story today. China. I know.
China.
Oh, is that the new one?
It's the new one.
That's the new one in rotation.
The new one. Yeah, it's got that big echoey room vibe.
Yeah, I like that. It's got like that good ambiance.
You can hear that gruff.
So we got 104% tariffs on China.
China.
Do you think they're happy about this?
I doubt
China
is happy about it.
No, I think that they may be rather annoyed about these tariffs, and it's a wild situation to watch. Stephen Miller was on Fox News last night, and this was yesterday, excuse me, and he said, listen, China, we absolutely have to deal with China. They have hollowed out our defense industrial base.
So what is the reaction in the White House to the fact that this noon deadline for China to begin some sort of discussion came and went? Will we now see 104% tariff against China?
Well, very simply, this is about the President of the United States defending the core national security interests of the United States. China has hollowed out our defense industrial base.
Yep.
This is very important for your viewers to understand. America cannot create the essential materials it needs to ensure our security into the future because China has stolen those supply chains. So America, but not just America, our allies around the world are dependent on China for our own defense, for our own economic well-being. That is the national security threat the president is responding to. And he's going to take whatever actions are necessary to ensure that he can keep America safe and that we can live in a country in which American workers and American factories can supply all of the materials and needs for our national security and defense.
Amen. Amen. We have to address the national security aspect of this. It needs to be addressed. And China, listen, they're going to send more tariffs our way, and announcements have been made about that. But the reality of the matter is that they need us more than we need them. We need to bring some manufacturing back. We need to get to decoupling from China a lot quicker than we have been. But make no mistake about it, they need us more than we need them. China filed a new World Trade Organization complaint over the U.S. tariffs. They lodged that complaint at the WTO, protesting the latest round of U.S. tariff hikes. Beijing's mission to the WTO confirmed the move, targeting what it calls further U.S. tariff measures. But with the World Trade Organization's dispute system crippled thanks to Trump-era reforms, this complaint isn't going to go anywhere. Scott Bessent was talking with Maria Bartiromo early this morning, and he said, listen, China is the worst trading partner and the worst offender in international trading in the world. There's nobody worse than China. And Donald Trump is trying to fix that relationship with China.
Cheap fakes.
Oh,
China.
You hit the wrong one.
Ah, my finger slipped.
You hit it was so close.
China.
All right, get an extra one in there just to make it up.
China.
There it is. There it is. This is Scott Bessent on with Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business, talking about China and how bad they are when it comes to world trade. Oops, sorry, that's the Stephen Miller clip. This is Scott Bessent and Maria Bartiromo.
That the Chinese actually don't want to come and negotiate because they are the worst offenders in the international trading system. They have the most imbalanced economy in the history of the modern world, and I can tell you that this escalation is a loser for them. That they have some very smart, the economists, the academicians, technocrats within their bureaucracy, and they would be telling the leadership that we do not have the edge here. They are the surplus country, that their exports to the U.S. are 5 times our exports to China. So they can raise their tariffs, but so what?
I love the energy. So what? And China did raise the tariffs. They knocked them up to 84%. Scott Bessent went, So what? Again, China needs us more than we need them. And there's going to be a lot of pissed off people in China when that money starts drying up. Stephen Miller says China now discovering for the first time that we have an American president who is putting America first once again. And I love to see it. I know you do too. It's about time. It's about damn time.
I believe that China will be forced very soon to come to the table for the simple reason that China's economy is completely dependent on its exports to the United States and to the West. China has built its entire industrial strategy since its entrance into the World Trade Organization on being able to sell highly subsidized, currency-manipulated, dumped goods into U.S. markets. It is an industrial strategy from China to product dump strategically to take out American steel, to take out American aluminum, to take out core American defense industries and defense needs so that we're reliant on China. And what's happening here is that China is now discovering for the first time that they have met an American president who is not going to be intimidated, who's not going to be bullied, who's not going to be coerced, who's going to stand up for our essential security needs.
Amen. And you couldn't say the same thing about Biden. I mean, Biden was owned. And when you look at the year-to-year dates on when China became the main exporter, man, it used to be so different. In 1990, the United States was the top exporter to 175 countries, and China only had 8. In 2000, the U.S. was the top exporter to 155 countries. China had 15. In 2010, this is where you start to see it really get lopsided. The U.S. was the top exporter to 85 countries, China to 55. In 2024, the U.S. was the top exporter to 35 countries, China to 125. We need to fix this. We need to remedy this very quickly, and that's what Donald Trump is going to do. That's what needs to happen. We've been waiting for this. We've been talking about this. We've been clamoring for this. And now that we have a president that is going to do it, everybody loses their minds. Everybody's upset. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see the chart that End Wokeness put out on X, and it really illustrates the point. You look at 2000, and China did not own the world. You look at 2024, and you can make the argument that China has the world by the shorts. Donald Trump needs to fix this, and he needs to fix it quick. And he's working towards fixing it. Yesterday, Carolyn Levitt was asked about the 104% tariffs. This is before China imposed 84% tariffs. But she said, listen, we have a president now that when America gets punched, we're going to punch back harder. And I love this energy. I do.
You mentioned the 70 countries or so. I'm curious, though, under what conditions at this point would President Trump talk to President Xi about tariffs?
Look, I just spoke to the president about this, and he believes that China wants to make a deal with the United States. He believes China has to make a deal with the United States. It was a mistake for China to retaliate. The president, when America is punched, he punches back harder. That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China tonight at midnight. But the president believes that Xi and China want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get that started. And the president also wanted me to tell all of you that if China reaches out to make a deal, he'll be incredibly gracious, but he's going to do what's best for the American people.
He'll be incredibly gracious. Oh, Xi, it's so nice of you to call. He'll be incredibly gracious. I think we need to get even tougher on China. You know, we talk a lot about how it's a national security risk and all that, but like even down to the minutia of everything, how many Chinese nationals have been deported so far? Not many, and there's thousands upon thousands of them in the country illegally. What are they planning? We do know that Chinese nationals are buying up farmland in America. Maybe we could get that to stop. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins was talking about this yesterday. This is also on Fox News with Brett Baer, and she's talking about the issue of China buying up U.S. farmland.
U.S. or foreign-owned farmland in the U.S. It has gone up quite a bit. There's 445 million acres, but between 2010 and 2023, foreign investors increased by 85%. There's a lot of concern about China. They own 384,000 acres of American agricultural land, some near U.S. military bases.
That's right.
Is that a problem?
This is a massive challenge, I believe, for our country. And it isn't just a challenge for our farmers and our farmland. It's a national security issue.
Obviously, it's a national security issue. I love how Brett Baer went, well, some of the farmland is even by military bases. Is that a problem? It's like, yes.
Food security is national security. When we can't feed our own people, then you see the great decline of other great civilizations across the world and across history. So I believe personally that this is one of the most important challenges that we're going to be facing. We've already begun to think through what solutions look like. I am a massive 10th Amendment supporter, the laboratories of democracy. The states have already begun to make significant moves, Arkansas, South Dakota, and others on this exact issue. But I think that we at the federal government, as much as I like to push things back to the people, that is something we're going to really need to look closely at. And I've already begun conversations on the Hill about just that.
You know, she shouts out Arkansas, and we made the case about Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and she outlawed China being able to buy farmland in Arkansas, which is massive. Brooke Rollins says we got to let the states do it, which I'm here for, but I think that as a nation, we need to get tougher on China and not let this stuff just fly, because that's what we've been doing. Our approach so far, other than South Dakota and Arkansas, has been like, oh, well, if they have the money, they can buy it. And I don't think that needs to be the message that we're sending to China. It's definitely not the message we're sending to China down on the Panama Canal. Pete Hegseth absolutely ratcheting up the rhetoric against China when it came to the Panama Canal yesterday in Panama. And this is what it sounded like.
It makes Panama and the United States less secure, less prosperous, and less sovereign. And as President Donald Trump has pointed out, that situation is not acceptable. We are grateful to President Molino, Minister Abrego, and your teams, along with the Panama Canal Authority, for responding to these threats and safeguarding the canal. President Molino's decision to withdraw from the Belt and Road Initiative reflects his government's clear understanding of China and the threat it poses. I want to be very clear. China did not build this canal. China does not operate this canal. And China will not weaponize this canal.
I love the operating from a position of strength. I love that Pete Hegseth is not pulling any punches, and I love that the administration is taking this stance. Let's go. Let's get tougher on China. They want a trade war? Give them a trade war. It's 921 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up, so tariffs went into effect. How's the market doing this morning? We'll take a look. Also, the IRS needs a new commissioner. We'll tell you what happened to the old one. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. You know why you need them.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Betterwater.com. A lot of people on the Super Text line reaching out, sending me well wishes. I appreciate it. A lot of people are saying that I got a man sent to CCOT in El Salvador today. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Other people are mad at me for not blasting the police officers for holding the illegal alien that hit me.
I'm in that corner.
I know. And just try to bite my tongue and be kind. I thought you should have been arrested, personally. Some nice bracelets for your trouble.
Yeah.
Matching set.
Yeah, that's what I thought should have happened. It didn't. That's okay. Nothing I could do at the time. I had to get to work. I had places to be.
News to report.
Yeah.
You're a company guy.
You know, this is what I do.
A shield to the man.
Did you see what Trump posted on True Social this morning?
Yep,
No.
sure did.
All right, throw it on the screen.
Put it
he
up.
He said, be cool. All caps. Be cool. Everything is going to work out well.
And
the USA will be bigger and better than ever before.
And right after he posted that, stocks went up.
You got to love it.
Yeah.
You got to love it. Did you see what Jack Posobiec said?
I love that. That's so good.
He said, I'm cool, Mr. President. I'm not a filthy pannikin. Don't be a pannikin. Take a deep breath. Everything is going to be okay. J.D. Vance had some strong comments for China yesterday. And he said that the U.S. borrows money from Chinese peasant labor. China has condemned those comments. Do we care? Do we care if China's condemning our comments? I have no problem. In fact, I'd have more of an issue if they were okay with the comments. I think that the only comments that we should be putting out are ones that China condemns. They said it is surprising and sad to hear such ignorant and impolite words from this vice president. I'm sorry. Aren't you the country that makes our sneakers with teeny tiny little hands? Right? Last time I checked, is that still happening? Peasant labor. Yeah. It actually checks out. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Wow, traffic is a mess right now on 40. If you're traveling eastbound just before South Harbin Drive, stop and go traffic for a crash. Then on the westbound side, there are accidents on 40 westbound at Lebanon and at Donaldson Pike in both cases. Lots of delays there. And then 24, the westbound side, right at Bell Road. The right lane is blocked off by an accident as well. Other news, President Trump's worldwide tariffs went into effect at midnight in China, imposing retaliatory tariffs of 84% on U.S. goods. Congressman Scott Desjardins earlier this morning with Dan Mandis says Americans should not panic.
Our debt is unsustainable, so we wanted somebody to come in and shake things up. Well, things have been shook up, and I just try to remind people that when you're going to quit printing money, quit borrowing money, quit giving away money, it's got to come from somewhere, and everybody's going to have to absorb some of that if we're going to get back on track.
Now, tariffs on 86 U.S. trading partners took effect at midnight, setting into motion President Trump's reciprocal duties. As we mentioned, President Trump this morning posting on his Truth Social account that this is a great time for companies to move their operations to the U.S. And in a separate post, he said this is a great time to buy. Well, stocks right now are higher. We've got Dow Jones Industrials up 70 points. NASDAQ is gaining 227, and the S&P 500 index, they're up 29 points. Well, another day, another lawsuit against President Trump, this time from the union that represents library workers. It comes after DOJ, they said, put most of their staff on leave and cut grants. The acting commissioner of the IRS is stepping down following a new deal that shares immigrants' tax data from immigration agents. ABC's Rhiannon Nally has more.
Melanie Krause is the third person to leave the top job at the IRS since President Trump took office. And sources say other senior IRS officials may also step down. Critics claim the data sharing agreement violates privacy laws, but the White House says it shows agencies are sharing information to improve efficiency and speed up the deportation of undocumented immigrants.
Now, under the terms of this data sharing agreement, ICE would submit the names and addresses of immigrants living illegally in the U.S. who have final removal orders, and which would be used to check against IRS taxpayer records. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. You can listen to the show anywhere, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it when you do. And if you miss anything, you want to share it with your friends, podcasts are always available on Apple and Spotify. And Mason has been breaking down the show into more, like, I don't know, like we do the live show and it's 3 hours. And then you break it down into more 20-minute segments of
little
some of our
bite-sized YouTube videos.
Yeah, like more of our best ofs. Those are all up there on the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, always recommend. Plus, our weekly Friday bit, we're meeting with Monica Page every Friday.
Yeah, Monica Page every Friday. She's going to be joining us live from the North Lawn of the White House on YouTube, wrapping up the past week in the White House. That idea is it's going to pay off.
Oh, 100%, especially with what's going on.
It's been nuts every single week. I keep waiting for it to slow down. They said it'll slow down after the election. I was, when?
Yeah.
When is
real.
this? Well, I'll take a break if you guys want to.
A
Do you
nice
remember,
chill week.
was it last summer we talked about a missing submarine for a week? Do you
Yeah.
remember? It was simpler times.
Which controller did they use?
Yeah.
PS5 or an Xbox?
Honestly,
I don't know.
do you remember that?
So nuts.
Like that. That was the only week since I've started here. What was it, like a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Doing the full-time show. I think it's July is 2 years. The only time where we have had a slow news week was when that damn submarine went missing. And I've been waiting because I talk to guys. They've been doing this a lot longer than me. I talked to Mandis and Murphy and Benson, and I like, when's it going to slow down? I don't know. It should have already.
This hasn't happened before.
They've never seen anything like it. This is just wild. But it keeps going, and now we're in a trade war with China. Here we go. I don't think this thing is ever going to turn kinetic, and I hope not. Especially with the neocons and the warmongers in our own party, we'll probably be at war with Iran before anything ever goes kinetic with China, and then we'll be in worse shape. We need to reboard and re-onboard some manufacturing jobs here, steel, aluminum. Donald Trump is already working his way through the energy sector, which is just fantastic. But China is a big, big issue that we need to tackle. It's been a big issue that we need to tackle. In China, I don't know if you know this, not good people. They're actually targeting Christians currently in China. This is a story that you're not going to hear just about anywhere. China has moved to formally end Christian missionary activity. China is removing Christian missionary activity. This is from Breitbart. The CCP is imposing severe restrictions on Christian missionary activity in the country, arguing loyalty to the party usurps all other beliefs and credos. This is your country on communism. This is it. We've seen the commies in our own government trying to eliminate Christianity from public discourse, and luckily we have been fighting back and we've been pushing back on that. And I do think that as a nation of Christians, the Christian faith is stronger today than it's been in quite a long time. I think that there is absolutely revival in the air, and I'm not just paying lip service. I truly believe it. I think that more young people are coming to Christianity than have in decades past, and I think this is a good thing. I think that Christianity is on the right path forward. However, we need to call this stuff out. We are still the most persecuted religious group in the entire world. Don't ever forget that. Just because we get comfy here in America doesn't mean that they're not after Christians elsewhere. We are the most persecuted group in the entire world, and this is just another example of it. These regulations that are taking effect in China on May 1st are going to prohibit foreigners from preaching, sharing their faith, or establishing religious organizations without official government approval. And they're not going to get that approval. So even if you were to go over to China and share the good word, you would be in violation of this. This move is just in line with a long history of what China has been doing towards just about any organized religion in the communist state. And we've seen what they've done with the Uyghur Muslims and how long before they start rounding up the Christians in the country and putting them into camp too. Chinese state media claims that these newly revised rules promote national security. National security. A common justification that the CCP uses. Now, you want to make the argument about national security and radical Islam? I think you can. But with Christianity, when's the last time that you saw a Christian suicide bomber? Have we ever had a Christian suicide bomber? Huh. Weird. The report further outlines the CCP claims it alone must maintain supremacy at all times. They are against these normal religious activities, and they say that the CCP has long viewed independent religious activity with suspicion, arguing that religious loyalty is at odds with the ultimate loyalty demanded by the Communist Party. The government labels independent religious activity as cultish and extremist, regardless of its theological roots, and demands that all Christian religious activity take place within the confines of state-run churches. Earlier this year, the Chinese government issued a report boasting about the increased persecution of independent religious groups in 2024, saying that China's public security authorities intensified efforts to dismantle cult organizations in 2024. This is a report from the Global Times, a state-run media outlet, saying they have worked to curb the growth and spread of cult organizations, mitigating the potential threats to national political security and maintaining social stability. This is your country on communists. In a statement on the Chinese messaging app and social media platform WeChat, China's Ministry of Public Security boasted of increased spending on technology and manpower to combat independent religious organizations and stamp out all faiths. In January, Christians were told to prepare for similar assaults on their faith, and now we're seeing that is going to be going into effect on May 1st. The CCP declared then in January that it is intent on rooting out every pocket of independent religious thought and persecutes Christians by shutting down house churches, stripping children from Christian families, and monitoring every detail of Christian citizens' lives. This is China. This is China. Can't trust these people. You just can't. And they're trying to influence elections too. Up in Canada, they have been busted using propaganda to promote the Liberal candidate, Mark Carney. And this is a wild one. A Canadian government task force that monitors election interference by foreign countries revealed on Monday that Chinese state-linked social media posts were amplifying messages promoting unelected leftist Prime Minister Mark Carney as a rock star economist and a worthy adversary to Donald Trump. Good luck. Best of luck to you. Also, while this is an interesting story, I don't know if the Canadians need propaganda to help them elect a Liberal. I think that the Canadians are going to do that all on their own. The messages were associated with a news account on the Chinese social media app WeChat called Yuli Yumian, which is linked to the Chinese Communist Party. According to Security and Intelligence Threats Task Force, the site task force refused to categorize the post as necessarily positive, insisting that some references to Carney were neutral, and emphasized that, in its opinion, the foreign propaganda was not materially affecting the Canadian election. It described the content as only being about Mark Carney. Yeah, well, the leftist Canadian task force didn't seem to have an issue with them promoting leftists, so they're fine with it. I found another interesting China story. This one actually underscores the comment I made earlier about how we need to deport these Chinese nationals that are in the country illegally and heavily look into the ones that are here on visas. Chinese soldiers captured fighting inside Ukraine, Zelensky claims. That's interesting. That's wild. Take it with a grain of salt. Zelensky understands we're in a bit of a trade war with China. He understands that things are ramping up with China. Did they really catch a Chinese soldier? That's what they're claiming. This could be just effective propaganda to use against the West because of our feelings towards China at the moment. So, again, take this with a grain of salt. But he said Zelensky said his forces engaged a squad of Chinese fighters inside the territory of Ukraine, implying this means Ukraine is now fighting with China as well as Russia and North Korea. Footage of a restrained Chinese soldier appearing to explain his experience in battle in a mix of Chinese and English to his captor has been published by President Volodymyr Zelensky, speaking alongside Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever during the nationalist politician's first trip to Kyiv. Zelensky said that during a battle in Donetsk, a Ukrainian region since the end of the Cold War, his armed forces engaged a squad of a half dozen Chinese soldiers. 2 of them were captured, he said, stating they found on the men documents, their passports, even credit cards. They are Chinese citizens. I think this is a very important element. Zelensky said we have information that there are more Chinese fighters in the occupiers' units than more than just this small group, and that we are currently verifying all the facts. Again, I just want to be cautious on this story because I understand that the money's drying up for Zelensky. And I understand how he could probably view this as a way to get some more money. So that being said, I'm cautiously approaching this story. Could it be true? Yes, very, very well could be true. Would it shock me if it was true? No. Would it shock me if Zelensky was lying? No. Both of these things can be true. Zelensky can still be a slime ball and China can still be bad. That's just the reality of the situation. Zelensky has no issue trying to further this war, and I don't think that he would put lying about this beneath him. I just don't. If it's true, very serious. If this is true, it also highlights the reason that we need to deport all the Chinese nationals in our country that are here illegally. I mean, we need to. And full disclosure, whether this story about Chinese troops being in Ukraine is true or not, we need to deport all the Chinese nationals in America. I mean, they're running things like secret police stations and secret biolabs, and it seems like the attention hasn't been on them the way it needs to be. And I think that getting rid of Tren de Aragua and MS-13 is great. I think getting rid of the CCP is also equally as important, if not more so. And I hope that we see some escalation in those efforts. Again, I think that the numbers of Chinese nationals deported is very, very low. I think the only numbers that I've seen was like 1 or 2 Chinese nationals deported, and the numbers of them being here are in the thousands upon thousands upon thousands. So what are they planning? What are they planning? We know they buy up farmland. We know that they monitor Chinese citizens here via their secret police stations. We know that they've had secret biolabs here. Why can't we get rid of them? We should. That should be one of the top priorities of this administration. And if this story about Chinese fighters being in Ukraine is true, it just underscores how important it is. We got a lot more to talk about. CNN actually described Donald Trump as a soaring eagle. Yeah, I'm not making that up. Took me by surprise, too. When I heard that, I was filled with the same shock that I was filled with when an undocumented man struck me from behind this morning on 24. I don't know if he was undocumented. He just didn't have a license or speak English, so I'm jumping to conclusions. It's 9:51. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store. They want me to give you the details on this open house party that they have coming up. It's their 5th annual open house in Nashville, and it's a don't miss event. You don't want to miss this, man. This year it's on Saturday, May 31st, and they're going to be raising the bar. They told me that. I said, prove it. I said, prove it. Last year was a party. Last year you guys had great speakers. Last year you gave away over $15,000 worth of great gun gear. So you want to raise the bar? I said, I'm going to need some proof. I'm just going to need proof. Like, I love you guys, but prove it. And they said, okay, well, this year we're giving away multiple Glocks. All right, point taken. They proved it. It's going to be a don't miss kind of party. It's going to be a lot of fun. The open house is taking place on Saturday, May 31st from 10 to 2 at the one and only Glock store. Myself, Mandis Murphy, the whole crew is going to be there, and we want you to come say hello to us and win some fantastic prizes. That's Saturday, May 31st, 10 to 2, the one and only Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
We'll tell you where they're still using kayaks to get around after last week's storms. Also, how are the markets doing now that China is hitting back? We're going to take a look. Those stories coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. I'm Chris Hand. It's 9:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. If you want to see a picture of the car that the nice man that didn't speak English or have a license damaged, it's on my Instagram page at ChrisHandonAir.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
I just said thank you. Thank you for the bumper kiss.
Bumper
That looked like a
kiss.
little more than a bumper.
It was a little peck.
It's an aggressive kiss.
Sometimes that's what's warranted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
It's been a morning. Skit in Hendersonville wants to talk. What's up, Skit?
Hey, Chris, thank you so much for all your stuff, all you've done, and what you were just talking about a minute ago about China. It's very important. I had my own run-in with a alien, but he was documented. He had a Mexican driver's license. I believe I could have made one of those with a copy machine, but that's another story. This is a real problem, and Tennessee has been like a sanctuary state, and my car got hit in Hendersonville, and, they're good cops there in Hendersonville. They're aggressive. However, they did absolutely zip.
Yep.
So we've got to get the local, state, and federal agencies involved together. And the only way it's going to happen is if we begin to, issue our own mandate by speaking up.
Hey, I'm with you, brother, and I appreciate the call, Skit. Thanks so much. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. I saw this clip on CNN where they have their poll guy, Harry Enton. Is that his name? Harry Enton? I believe that's his name.
That's his name.
And he was very excited. And I was shocked that he phrased it this way. He said, "He ain't no lame duck. He's a soaring eagle."
I think there was this concern among some folks that Donald Trump would come in for a second term and kind of be a lame duck. He ain't no lame duck. If anything, he's a soaring eagle. What?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm going to play the rest of it for context, but I just want to pause there and just let's all just appreciate what the average CNN viewer felt in that moment. He ain't no lame duck. He's a soaring eagle. Oh my gosh, the Coke can was just crumpled in someone's hand, right? Like, can you imagine that? The remote was thrown at the TV. The coping and the seething of the left watching this. You ever see the meme with the crying Wojak face?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't no lame duck. He's a soaring eagle.
What am I talking about here? Let's talk about Trump executive orders in 2025. He's already signed 111 so far. That is the most at this point in a presidency in at least 100 years. In fact, it's the most in any single year, and we're only in April, since Harry S. Truman in the early 1950s. The bottom line is whether you like Trump or you don't like him, you can't say that he's come in and not try to deliver on what he at least believes was his promises on the campaign trail, and he's doing so in historic fashion.
Amen, brother. Amen. Again, I just highlight that clip so that way we can all really put ourselves in the shoe of that leftist family member, and imagine how they felt watching that. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Donald Trump was at the NRCC last night, this big dinner, the National Republican Congressional Committee, and he had some things to say, speaking at length about his agenda and emphasizing the need to protect and strengthen that Republican House majority. He was dropping bombs last night, and I'll play you the highlights when we get back. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Flooding continues to be a big problem in Kentucky. The Ohio River expected to crest at 50 feet, but not until tomorrow. In Dawson Springs, the waters there are receding, but residents are still using kayaks to get around. This man telling Channel 4 he's donated dozens of cases of bottled water just to lend a hand.
The good Lord puts things upon my heart. I'm not wealthy or rich, but there's a whole lot of people in Dawson Springs that need some kind of help. Prayer works for them also.
Dawson Springs, you may remember, was leveled by a tornado in December of 2021. Well, the flooding in Clarksville is ongoing as well. And speaking to WSMV, this man says he bought kayaks for his family to have fun.
We bought the kayaks a long time ago to go to Paris, but Paris is coming to us now.
Yeah, the Clarksville mayor there says engineers are now studying those areas that continue to flood after big storms. They'll work on figuring out how to mitigate the high waters. Metro Police saying that they counted 17 shell casings from a shootout between two cars on Murfreesboro Pike on Monday night.
The police helicopter tracked them down. The vehicle split up, and the pilot kept following the white Dodge Charger involved. It was finally stopped by spike strips on I-40 near the 440 split. Two people got out, ran away, tried to hide in some bushes, but the K-9 officer sniffed them out. They were arrested. 3 teenagers in all were arrested, including 19-year-old Aldo Sosa Arteaga, a 16-year-old, and a 15-year-old. Police say they found a 9mm pistol in the bushes, one in the car, and ski masks that the shooters were reportedly wearing during the shootout. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
China today firing back at the escalating trade war with the U.S. hours after President Trump's tariffs on Chinese imports jumped to 104%. China raised its own tariffs on American goods to 84%. And that'll start tomorrow.
Beijing did say there would be resolute countermeasures if Trump made good on his promise to increase those tariffs to 104%. So we're now starting to see that happening. And there's a sense that there is more to come in this escalating standoff between the world's two biggest economies. Britt Clennett, ABC News, Hong Kong.
The Dow Jones Industrials right now minus 278. The Nasdaq is up 17 points. We've got the S&P down 29. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
He ain't no lame duck. He is a soaring eagle. Donald J. Trump. Last night, he was at the National Republican Congressional Committee dinner. It was very fancy. He was wearing a black tie. Looks sharp. Looks sharp. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see what I'm talking about. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. It'll help me send the kids to summer camp and probably fix my car after what happened this morning. We do appreciate it. It's free to do. Share the show with your friends. And if you miss anything, you want to hear it again, podcasts are always available on Apple and Spotify. Tomorrow on the show, and Mason, this is really for you. I just confirmed Savannah Hernandez. She's going to be on the show tomorrow.
Let's go.
Sav has got an update on the story that she broke where Jackson Hewitt was trying to file taxes for illegal aliens. So,
scum.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. It seems like for a long time, we've had America last. And Donald J. Trump, last night at the National Republican Congressional Committee dinner, said his job is to defend the American dream.
My job is not to maximize the profits of outsourcers and these foreign corporations are horrible. It's horrible what they're doing, but we're catching them. We're catching them by the dozens. My job is I have to defend the American dream, and I have to defend the American citizens. That's my job. I have to defend that. The American dream is never mentioned. It was mentioned for 4 years, and now it's being mentioned again, but it was never mentioned when we had Sleepy Joe in office.
He's right, and the American dream seemed so far out of reach while Joe was in office. And right now, people will kvetch about the stock market. I haven't paid attention to the numbers today. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't really care. I think it's going to be fine. And when you zoom out on that graph, you realize that what we're panicking about is not as big of a deal as it should be. But what Trump is doing in the meantime with inflation and energy and the investments that are coming into this country, yeah, he's absolutely going to be making a difference for the middle class. He's absolutely going to create opportunities that will pull individuals out of poverty and bring them closer to that American dream. And you can see this happening in real time, yet people are upset. People are upset. Some Republicans are even working against Trump. We have Senate Republicans lining up to work with the Democrats on a bill that would essentially reel in the president's tariff power. And it's ridiculous. These Republicans should be pointed at and laughed at, and Trump did. He pointed and laughed at them last night. He took a bit of a jab at him as he was talking about all of the different countries that have been calling him up, saying, "Donald, let's make a deal." And there's a lot of countries doing that, 50, 60, 70, according to some individuals in the administration, calling and making deals. Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and more. And Trump said they're calling up at record numbers, and then he takes a jab at those Senate Republicans trying to work against him.
This is bigger than any deal. You guys, some of you work for companies. Your companies are peanuts. I don't care how big they are. This is the largest transaction in the history of our country. And don't let some of these politicians go around saying, because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir. And then I'll see some rebel Republican, some guy that wants to grandstand, say, I think that Congress should take over negotiations. Let me tell you, you don't negotiate like I negotiate. Congress takes over negotiating. Sell America fast because you're going to go busted. You don't. I just saw it today. A couple of your congressmen said, I think we should get involved in the negotiation of the tariffs. Oh, that's what I need. I need some guy telling me how to negotiate.
I love it. So that's what I need. That's what I need. Some guy telling me how to negotiate. Now he's referencing the bill that Senator Chuck Grassley is all about, who's a Republican, that would strip President Trump of his tariffing authority, essentially. It would send it to Congress and give them 60 days to think about it. Trump also making the point that, in the meantime, while these Republicans are working against him with the Democrats, you have world leaders after world leader after world leader calling up and as Mr. President said, kissing his ass to make a deal and breaking overnight. This is according to Bloomberg. Italian Prime Minister, the Italian Trump, Giorgia Meloni, is meeting with Trump next week to discuss a tariff deal. I said the Italian Trump as a joke. I hate when they do that. I do. Nothing drives me more crazy than hearing anybody in the media, whether it's right or left, being like, that's the insert country version of Trump, and then you dig a little deeper and you're like,
This is bigger than.
It's not exactly the case. It's not exactly the case. Senator Markwayne Mullin, though, he posted a video on X, and he was arguing against the bill from Grassley that would limit Trump's tariff powers. And Markwayne Mullin, the senator, he makes a fantastic point.
Hey guys, I want to talk about tariffs and what's going on with Chuck Grassley's bill, which Senator Grassley is a wonderful guy. I absolutely love him. Of course, he's from Iowa. We have a little difference on, wrestling there. Obviously, Oklahoma knows how to wrestle. Iowa's trying to figure it out. The tariff bill.
So just for starters, he had to sweeten it up, right? Oh, Chuck Grassley's a wonderful guy. It's like, just all right, Mark, like, we get it. You don't want to step on toes. Just get to the meat. Get to the meat of your argument. Like, if you're going to call out Chuck Grassley, we don't need the pleasantries beforehand.
The tariff bill that he's wanting to do that basically brings back the authority of tariffs back to Congress is something he's been trying to do for a long time. It has nothing to do with President Trump. Chuck Grassley's got a good relationship with President Trump. My concern with tariffs and Congress having the final say on it is we don't move fast enough. Congress moves at the pace of a tortoise running a race.
That's a tortoise running a race. That's giving them a bit too much credit. The tortoise won that race.
Moves so slow, and the economy is constantly moving and constantly adjusting, and countries are doing the same thing, and we have to be able to react. The reason why Congress gave this authority to the president to begin with is because the ability to pivot. I believe the authority needs to stay with the president of the United States because just the ability to be able to make decisions in a quick manner and negotiate with the leaders. Just think about this. Say the tariffs were asked to come back to Congress, and Congress is like, well, let's take a vote on this, and we would amend it 3, 4, 5 different times, and then there's a never-ending situation that takes place that no decision would ever be made, which is what Congress is really good at. We can't afford to let that happen. That's why the power is with the President of the United States, and that's where it should stay.
Thank you, Senator Mullins. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, we would call Joe Biden out for this kind of stuff, but there was a lot of edits in that video. Like, come on, buddy. Like, you're a smart guy. You could do this on one take. Just do a reshoot instead of all the edits. That's just personal pet peeve of mine. All the cuts. Come on, just do it. Do it first take. You can do it. You can do it. But no, the sending the tariff power to Congress is just stupid. It is ridiculous. And I agree with Senator Markwayne Mullin there. But Trump last night at the NRCC, he says, "Listen, I am not going to be looking out for Wall Street. I'm going to be looking out for Main Street." And I just think the collective conservatives in this country think it's about damn time. Small business owners thinking to themselves, it's about damn time.
I'm proud to be the president for the workers, not the outsourcers. The president who stands up for Main Street, not Wall Street. Who protects the middle class, not the political class.
Amen.
And who defends America, not trade cheaters all over the globe. They're trade cheaters. They cheated on us. They cheated with tariffs on us. They stole our money. They stole our jobs.
They stole our money. They stole our jobs. Argue with that. I mean, look at these small towns throughout the Midwest. You can look at areas.
You know you're overpaying for your health and
manufacturing
wellness.
was lost here in Tennessee and make the same argument. They're cheaters. And they stole our money and they stole our jobs, and we need those back. A lot of people wanted to weigh in on the conversation. Let's go to James on the road. You're first on Super Talk. What's up, James?
Hey, thanks for my call, Chris. Love your show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Just a quick comment on this lame duck situation. Quick history lesson. You go back to 1845. James K. Polk, one of the 3 presidents elected from the state of Tennessee, immediately said, "I will not run for re-election." He's one of the only presidents. They all said, "Oh, you'll never get anything done because you're lame duck." one of the only presidents to have ever done everything that he said he was going to do when he was running for president.
Yep. And listen,
and he worked himself to death, and he died shortly after leaving office at about 51 years of age.
Hey, I appreciate the history, James. And this is one of the arguments that I've made for Trump for a long time. And if you've been listening to the show since I started, but a year and a half ago in July, the main argument that I wanted Trump back in the White House is that he didn't have to govern with his eye towards another term. I think that Trump can get in and do things in a way that a guy like DeSantis just couldn't have, because DeSantis would have been worried about being reelected. Do you think DeSantis would be making these tough moves like Trump is making today? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe he would. Maybe he would. Maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. I tend to think that that's highly unlikely. I do. Donald Trump doesn't have to fear that, though. He doesn't have to fear reelection or losing a reelection. He just needs to do what's right. And that's what he's focused on. And he's focused on Main Street, not Wall Street. He's focused on the middle class, not the political class. And he's focused on defending America from trade cheaters. Let's go. Steve in the borough, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Steve?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Hey, so there's so many things that I would love to argue with you on that you said the last few days, really the last few weeks, but I want to try and stay focused. Is
this the Steve in the borough that was the Tesla protester?
Was the what?
Were you a Tesla protester, or is it no somebody else?
No,
all right.
I think protests are a waste of time, in my opinion. But
all right, what do you want to argue with me about? I'm here for it.
No, I just want to stay laser focused on this. Fundamentally, there's no difference between the power to tariff and the power to do a treaty with another country. We don't have any problem with presidents negotiating treaties and having Congress having final say-so over it, and I don't have any problem with Congress restoring that power. We forget that. They once had that power to do a final say-so on this. I look long-term. I don't look at the president we have in front of us. I look at the presidents that we're going to have.
Yeah.
And when you let one president have this kind of single, unchecked authority, you got to be ready for a President Newsom to have that, or a President Pritzker, or.
Well, I would ask, how has it been unchecked? I mean, he's had more injunctions levied against him than just about any president to come before him. I mean, he's had local judges checking every order that he's made. He's had liberal activists protesting every decision that he's made.
Wait.
How is this unchecked?
So I was saying that I want to focus on tariffs right now. So what I'm saying is the power to tariff is completely unchecked right now by the president.
But
it's been that way for a while, and that's why Grassley's been trying to fight it for a while.
But I would go back to that cut that I played from Mark Wayne Mullen, Senator Mullins. If you send it to Congress and they have 60 days to decide, you lose all the leverage in that negotiating. You lose all that power.
You don't negotiate treaties because everybody knows going into the treaty what the situation is.
The reason Japan calls immediately, the reason Korea calls immediately, the reason Taiwan calls immediately, and the Italian prime minister is going to be meeting with Trump next week is because they need to get a deal done immediately, and that will create immediate relief as opposed to sending it to Congress and letting them discuss it for 60 days.
Well, first of all, you believe that those countries have called us that quickly. I don't believe anything this administration says. They lie repeatedly and without hesitation. They just don't even blink about it, and the lies are accepted as truth and the facts be damned. And so that I would take issue with that.
That's an interesting take. What are the lies?
But second of all, I'm staying focused on treaties right now. The second of all is it's what I keep saying is when it comes to tariffs and treaties, they're essentially the same thing. A tariff is basically a type of treaty, and we don't take issue with Congress having a check and balance on treaties, and I don't see why we'd have taken issue with this. You're right. Mullen is right about one thing. Congress is slow, and it was designed to be that way. Actually, if you want to get technical, the House was designed to be. Or the Senate was designed to be slow, not the House. But collectively, the idea was that we didn't want government to grow and change and it be in every aspect in our lives. So actually, compared to the way it was designed to be, Congress, the House and Senate combined, moves very quickly compared to the way it's designed to be.
But can't you agree? Can't you agree that in a negotiation, if I'm negotiating with you for employment, right, and then we're going back and forth, and then you have to go talk to somebody else at the office, and it's going to take 60 days, you lose a lot of your leverage.
I agree that like when you have situations where you have kings and royalty and dictatorships, they're incredibly efficient. They're incredibly fast.
High-level negotiations that you're going to lose leverage if it goes to Congress.
If you want it
agree.
fast, then you don't want the Constitution. And the Constitution was meant to be slow, and I'm great with it being slow.
Are you a registered Democrat?
Way down. No, I'm not.
No? Independent?
No. In Tennessee, you don't register party affiliation.
I
have never in my life, to my knowledge, voted for a Democrat. I've only ever voted for Republicans or independents.
Interesting.
I've always thought of myself as a libertarian Republican, conservative in my socially conservative, but my political leanings aren't the Libertarian Party. That's they're more ridiculous than the two main parties. But
and did you vote for Trump?
No, absolutely not.
And what was the reason why you didn't vote for Trump?
For one thing, he's not a Republican, he's not conservative, and he's not libertarian in his political. He doesn't have a political philosophy. He's a populist, and I'll never vote for a populist.
All right. Hey, fair enough. Steve, I appreciate the call, man. We're up against it on a break, but you're welcome to call in anytime. All right, brother? It's 1023 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Have you heard of the Wellness Institute of Nashville? If you're living with pain, you need to listen to this commercial because the Wellness Institute of Nashville wants to fix that pain for you, and they want to fix it for good. And they don't want to use surgery. They don't want to use drugs. They want to do it in an all-natural way with spinal decompression. And they want to offer you a fantastic deal. The Wellness Institute of Nashville is offering the Big 47 deal in honor of Donald J. Trump, and you can get 47% off because of that deal. See, Trump never gave up on America, so Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're not giving up on you. And they want to heal this pain for good, and they're going to use a state-of-the-art, high-tech treatment that will naturally heal it. They've trained all over the world, Dr. Mitchell has, and Dr. Ashley is an expert in holistic health and advanced chiropractic care. So if you're living with pain, it's time to build that game plan for a pain-free life. And you can do it by calling 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or visit the website painisbad.com.
The EU says it'll levy tariffs of their own on the U.S., but there may have been a hidden message in that announcement. Also, what overseas pharmaceutical companies have announced they'll do if the U.S. imposes extra tariffs on them. We've got that and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you see that statement that they made after the EU made that threat?
No, I didn't.
It was, hold on, I got it right here. It says, "Ooh, I'm so scared." It's 10:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Joan Jones is on the way with the news. You guys waiting on the phone line, 615-737-9986. Let's go to Mike in Nashville. You're up next. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
What's up,
hey,
man?
Listen, Chris, this time yesterday when I talked to you, China was on the countdown with Donald Trump had set the ultimatum. It looks like China has decided that they wasn't going to cooperate with the U.S. So now, Chris, like I told you yesterday, it's time to start playing hardball with these guys.
Amen.
You can't be nice to them because see they think that Joe Biden is still in the White House. Somebody forgot to update them on that we had an election and we have a new president, and this president is not bought and paid for. And Donald Trump needs to show them that, Chris. And the reason and how he can show them, I talked to a guy yesterday. I told you this yesterday. You really want to stick it to him. If I had it my way, how about you see how fast they come to the negotiating table? How about if Donald Trump tells them no Hondas or no Toyotas will be sold in America until they come to the table and make some kind of a deal? If they don't allow our cars to be sold in China and Japan, why should we allow their cars to be sold here? And also, Chris, let me say this right quick about this situation. When it comes to Trump and the tariff, there was a guy on television yesterday, Asian guy from China, who was a spokesman. I don't know who this guy is, but he was talking a lot of trash. They translated his language into English, and he basically said that China is not scared of the U.S. They're not going to make a deal, and they will not be. They're insulted that the U.S. would want to put tariffs on their products, but yet they're doing it to us. And he said that they're going to fight the United States to the end with tariffs or even if a war, if possible. So that shows you the mentality of these people. So if that's the mentality that China has, we have to have the same mentality that we're going to fight to the end and we're going to fight for America, and we're not going to continue to let these people rob us because that's exactly what they've been doing. So if they don't want to come to the table, then we'll continue to put these high-dollar tariffs on them.
I'm with you.
Because like you said at the beginning of the show, Chris, they need us more than we need
Amen.
them.
I'm with you, Mike, and I agree with that. And here's the thing, though. Japan has come to the negotiating table. Japan is going to get preferential treatment. They were up first. They called immediately. So I don't have an issue with Japan. The issue is with China. Make no mistake about it. Yeah, China imposed more tariffs on us to the tune of 84% after we put 104% on them. All we have to do is wait. Like that's the big thing with China. All you have to do is wait. And this is going to hurt their manufacturing base. Make no mistake about it. And you're going to have a few 100 million Chinese people who have been lifted up out of poverty who aren't going to want to go back. And it's going to create some social unrest in that country if a deal isn't hit. I guarantee it. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
10:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The European Union voting to approve counter tariffs on a range of goods from the U.S. And they'll start on April 15th unless negotiations with the U.S. are unsuccessful. In her statement, EU President Ursula von der Leyen saying essentially that the EU is now ready to talk. President Trump announcing a major tariff on pharmaceutical imports with the goal of incentivizing drug companies to move their operations to the U.S. Congressman Scott Desjardins tells Dan Mandis anything's possible.
Do we have the infrastructure? No. Can we get it? Yes, I believe we can. And again, people are going to have to accept that this isn't going to happen overnight. This is going to take some time. You got to believe in the strategy.
Now, The Guardian reporting just this morning that pharmaceutical companies in the EU have warned they may just do that. They may move to the United States. Engineers are examining some Clarksville neighborhoods to figure out how to direct water away from them. After another round of flooding due to last week's storms, Mayor Joe Pitt speaking to Channel 4.
We've had a lot of rain, and where they're located in a lower lying area tends to attract water.
He also says they'll ask FEMA to reevaluate flood zones, which were last drawn in 2008. That process could take several months. An endangered child alert has been canceled. Lebanon police reporting 10-year-old Jeremiah Opio was last seen riding his bike in the Five Oaks Court neighborhood last night. Well, this morning they're reporting that that little boy has been located and he is safe. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I love the guys over at Busy Bee. They're the best, and they listen to us all day long. They're the best, and they want to save you some money. It's spring rebate madness happening right now at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and if you need yourself something, you're going to save some money with Busy Bee. A mini split 17 SEER or heat pump 17 SEER will land you an $800 rebate. A heat pump 15 or 16 SEER, $500 rebate. Duct sealing or repair, $300 rebate. Tune-ups, $50 rebate for each one. So if you join the Beehive Club today, you get your spring tune-up in the $50 rebate, the fall tune-up in the $50 rebate. You've just paid for your Beehive Club membership. How simple is that? And it comes with so much more value. It'll get you 3 annual tune-ups, 10% on all repairs, front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. Oh, and on the rebate front, they'll fill out the paperwork for you so you don't have to even stress about it. You just wait for the check in the mail. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for you. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
I'm proud to be the president for the workers, not the outsourcers. The president who stands up for Main Street, not Wall Street, who protects the middle class, not the political class, and who defends America, not trade cheaters all over the globe. They're trade cheaters. They cheated on us They cheated with tariffs on us. They stole our money. They stole our jobs.
That's Donald Trump last night at the NRCC. That's the National Republican Congressional Committee dinner. Looking dapper. Black tie affair. I mean, geez. Looking good in the suit, man. The tux. It's very rare to see tux Trump. Oh, we saw him last night. And he was bringing the heat. He was bringing the heat. The tariffs are being felt throughout the country, and some companies are getting a bit antsy. Fashion companies are very scared because you understand what fashion companies do, right? They use the teeny tiny little hands to sew on your buttons and things of that nature. And they're now looking at these Trump tariffs and they're saying it's an existential threat. Okay, it's an existential threat. Stories from the Post-Millennial. President Trump's tariffs have plunged U.S. fashion brands that manufacture their brand overseas into a crisis, with several iconic companies reporting immediate financial strain and describing the policy change as an existential threat. While the tariffs aim to bolster American-made products, the fashion industry has historically been reliant on global manufacturing. Companies like Nike, Gap, American Eagle, Ralph Lauren, Nordstrom, Levi's, and Under Armour have all taken hits since Trump enacted tariffs on April 2nd, which the president dubbed Liberation Day. Vogue Business reports. Vogue Business? Vogue, is that like Vogue magazine? They have a business section? I get my news from Vogue Business. It really, yeah, it's Vogue. It's Vogue magazine. Vogue Business.
How successful is it really if we've never heard of it?
I get what do you use for your news? Oh, Vogue Business.
What? What?
All right. The existential threat. The tariffs on $2.5 trillion in imports have spurred executives from U.S. fashion companies to call suppliers in countries such as Vietnam, Cambodia, and Bangladesh, who were hit with 46, 49, and 37% levies, respectively, to try to devise a strategy. I mean, I think the strategy is make a deal with the president. I think these companies call these nations and they say, make a deal with the president. One of these industry leaders, Jonathan Gold, he's the National Retail Federation's VP of Supply Chains and Custom Policy, said, these tariffs are significantly more than people expected. The administration needs to understand that this will be significant for retailers, both large and small, especially small, because they can't shift as quickly. They're talking to officials and expressing concerns. Will they be able to stay in business with these cost increases? And understanding the real downstream impact that this has, from job losses all the way to going out of business, consumer confidence is already down, and this will make it go lower. I love how these lefties they're worried about it now, but when they were shutting down your small business over COVID, they told you to shut up and take it. Bend over. The government's coming in. And they didn't care that you lost your business. But now, since it's politically convenient to have these talking points against President Trump, well, now they're worried about your small business. Oh, they're downright distraught. I don't believe that. I believe that this is faux outrage. And I believe a lot of these companies are going to eat the cost. I do. You don't want to lose market share. Markets have been volatile in response to the tariffs. Everybody understands that. Trump said that if these countries can make good deals, then he'll lower the barriers. So make a good deal. Make a good deal. It's really on you at that point. It's not on the president any longer. Sources told Vogue Business. They have sources. Who do you think Vogue Business's sources are? Like, hold on, I'm getting a really important call from Vogue Business. Sources told Vogue Business that the majority of brands that will likely have to increase prices by an average of 15% due to tariffs, specifically on China, which is the highest rate after the new policy. The focus of discussions with vendors has been on the extent to which they can absorb the cost without being driven to the brink. The focus on discussion with vendors has been on the extent to which they can absorb the cost. What have we said? Time and time again. These vendors will absorb a lot of this cost to retain market share. But they said this is an existential threat. Everybody is holding their breath. That was Sanjeev Bal, CEO of denim manufacturer Satex, He told the magazine, sourcing teams are looking at other options. People are crunching numbers. Nobody has yet approached a formula of what if. That will start once we know the final numbers and if there are negotiations. Again, Trump has all the leverage here, and there are going to be negotiations ongoing. Take a deep breath before you worry about paying more for a T-shirt. That's all I have to say. That's where I'm at. Let's go to Eric in White House. Eric wants to boycott something. I'm with it. What are we boycotting, Eric?
Well, good morning, Chris, with his hand on the pulse of the nation.
What's up, bro?
I would like to ask, I know boycotts work sometimes they don't, and we have a nation full of lazy people for the most part. Not saying a lot don't work hard, but even the conservatives, they're lazy. I talk to friends, I don't care to take the time. If it's cheaper, it's cheaper. Well, what if, how much impact do you think, comparative to the tariffs or in addition to the tariffs, would it have if people started being more cognizant and reading labels and looking for things that are not made in China or any country that supports them? How much impact do you believe that would have on hitting China in the knees even harder to get their attention?
Oh, I think it would have a massive impact, and I think that and I appreciate the call, Eric. A lot of Americans have been talking about this for a long time. Buy American, focus on buying American. Don't buy things that are made in China. What this is going to do, as we onboard more manufacturing in America, is going to make the choice a lot easier, right? The American products will become more cheap, and they'll be better quality, and the choice will be very, very easy. In the meantime, before that happens, I'm down for a Chinese boycott. It's increasingly hard because I talked about this earlier in the show. They have overtaken us in so many areas. I mean, what did I say yesterday? About 100,000 flags, United States flags, are sold in America every month that are made in China. Like that's how far we've fallen. And there's you can look at the year by year from when China overtook us. It's like in 1990, we were the top exporter to 175 countries. China had 8. In 2000, we were the top exporter to 155 countries. China was 15. 2010, 85 to 55. 2024, 35 to 125. Our politicians let this happen. They allowed this to happen. It doesn't make America stronger. It doesn't make America greater. And we need to recalibrate. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. That's what he's doing. Would a boycott help in the meantime? Yeah, it's just going to be harder until we kind of get through this rough patch. Bobby in Nashville wants to talk tariffs. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, good to talk with you, Chris. As always, my brother. I want to get this out there like I always do. Support your veterans, brother. But here's
Amen.
the deal. I don't care about China. Hey, the thing of it is, like you say, they need us more than we need them. I remember back in the day, I'm 65-year-old. Back in the day, my dad lined my 3 brothers up in line to get in line to buy 5 bars of soap or 5 canned goods for $1. This brother did it, that brother did it, and that's how we survived, brother. And this country over here, the people in this country, the majority of them, they're lazy, man. They expect something for nothing. I've got a 401k. I'm willing to take a hit on it to see how it happens in the long run. You stole my thunder on that COVID stuff, man. You know, they shut us down on COVID. Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that.
Yep.
This is nowhere near like COVID. So I tell all you listeners out there, brother, go on to Walmart or somewhere and get you a few extra cans of beans. Don't spend no more than what you need to spend, and just sit back and get ready for the ride, brother.
Hey, man, beans and deans, baby. Beans and deans. That's what we're going to be relying on. Have you heard that meme? Beans and deans? Beans and sardines. That's all you need. That's it. Help you survive a nuclear apocalypse. Beans and deans. Brent in Spring Hill, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Brent?
Hey, I have a lot of elderly friends, retirees, I should say,
okay,
who are conservative, but they're not very happy, and they have to take a mandatory payout, on their IRA or 401k, whatever, every quarter. And I tell them it's going to be fine by June. And it's so, but they're Republican and they're not happy.
Well, man, I understand if you're already drawing down on your retirement, it's heavily reliant on the stock market. I can understand why you'd be upset by that. And like I'm not knocking it. I would say zoom out on the chart and look at where we are at today versus where we were 10 years ago. I mean, we've made gains. It's not like we've lost all the gains we've made in the last decade. That being said, yeah, I can understand. I can understand why it's stressful. I feel for people that are dealing with that. But the reality of the situation is just what you said, Brent, and I appreciate your call. It's like, just be patient. You have former Commerce Secretaries, Carlos Gutierrez, former Commerce Secretary for Bush. He's like, these tariffs aren't going to be in place at the back end of 2025. All these countries are coming to negotiate. All of them. They all want to negotiate, except apparently China currently. But all we have to do is wait there. And this is going to weaken China. Make no mistake about that. But when it comes to your 401k and the stock market, I just say be patient. Be patient. It ebbs and flows, and it was probably overvalued already and was set for a correction at some point. It just seems like Trump forced their hand to a certain extent. But this is going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Take a deep breath. Mark in Nashville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris. Wanted to talk about the difference between tariffs and trade deficits. There's a few details in all of this. It's been a little hard for me to see it all as, four-dimensional chess. It looked like the Falkland Islands. It's got 500,000 sheep and 2,000 people. When we put a tariff on that, a lot of sheep come over, get turned into lamb chops, and use that as raw materials to make profitable, expensive dinners in our restaurants across the country. But there's no way that 2,000 people living on an island are going to import enough F-150s to balance out the trade. A lot of this discussion, whether it's Canada or anybody else, has been, well, they're not buying as much stuff and importing it into their country as we are buying from them. But I'm seeing it as a lot of, we're getting raw materials in many cases from around the world that we turn into more profitable products that we send out and make a lot of money from. That's part of it. There's a tariff, which is you got your product at a particular tariff rate, but there's a deficit, which is just a difference in the amount of materials going across a border. I don't have a deficit from my Ford dealership if I buy an F-150 for $75,000 and use it for my plumbing business and make money with it. I wouldn't call that a tariff that the Ford dealership is charging me. That's just a deficit in what they got from me and what I got from them, but I'm using it to make more money. Can you get into that a little bit? Because there's parts of this that are just not squaring for me, and I'm a conservative Republican.
Yeah, I mean, listen, dude, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you that I am the greatest financial mind in the land. But I think that despite what you're saying, that you have countries that are exporting more than they're importing, right? And then at the same time, we're protecting a lot of these countries militarily. And there's a huge cost to that as well. And I think that all of that has been baked into the cake. And when you look at the EU, you look at China, I mean, it's glaring. It is absolutely glaring. Are there some smaller nations that have been caught up in this? Sure. But at some of those nations, you can point to the fact that they're doing this preemptively so that way China doesn't find a workaround to then have these products be imported from this nation as opposed to China. And I think that makes sense.
I'm not sure I'm totally tracking with how, that would be protected if there's other nations that have a lower tariff. I mean, they could continue to do that anyway, and that's something that people always caught historically for the World Trade Organization sort of stuff. So I'm still having trouble seeing, how an uninhabited island, for example, ends up on this list and not being concerned that this is being, that some intern in the White House came up with this list and it got passed up 5 layers and it ends up with the president showing it.
Carolyn Levitt explained this just 2 days ago at a press conference. She said it was to de-incentivize any countries from building up ports and exporting from those areas. Mainly China, and they're talking about the Penguin Island. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know how somebody could have theoretically routed trade through Penguin Island.
I don't know, man, but that was their reasoning behind it. Hey, I appreciate the call, Mark. Thank you so much. It is 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On the way, we can talk about this a little bit more. There's also huge news coming out of the coal industry from Donald Trump yesterday that we'll get into. He made a lot of people laugh when he was just roasting Joe Biden off the cuff during this big press conference. Plus, some updates on the border. Illegal aliens, could they be paying a fine if they remain in the country? Sounds like that's going to happen. All that and more on the way. It's 10:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
open carry for shotguns and rifles. I'll tell you about it coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You hear that? That's America healing. That's what that is.
I thought that was just a really good song.
Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Well, I was talking about open carry shotguns and rifles.
Oh, yeah, I got you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm for it.
You're here for it, brother.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, what the heck?
I got a nice shotgun, and it has a bayonet attachment. And so I was like, that's dope. I was like, so.
Yeah, a shotgun with a bayonet attachment.
Yeah, it's a Mossberg 590A1, and it's really fun. And I got it for the bayonet attachment, full disclosure.
Absolutely.
Because it was cool. And so then what I did was I went online and I ordered a bayonet that was used in Vietnam.
Whoa. Brother Chris.
So I got that, and thought that's pretty cool.
So do you have it like in a case somewhere, or is it like under the pillow?
It's in the house, and it's ready to be attached.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I haven't fired it with the bayonet attached, but it would be pretty cool. Be pretty cool to do.
It would be. So do you know how it was used in Vietnam?
Well, I have a backstory that I've created in my own mind that I prefer over any real story.
Gotcha.
You know, the backstory in my mind is Rambo-esque. Just full disclosure. That's what I'm going with. Ken Weaver's in the newsroom, and he's going to be bringing you the latest on the stock market. How are we looking so far?
Let's see here.
Is it like 24 at about 8 o'clock in the morning?
Last I saw, I mean, it's all just kind of even, but that's been a minute. So bring it up here. And, I mean, we're mixed. We've got the Dow is down 97. S&P down 8. NASDAQ's actually up 70. So we're flat for all intents and purposes.
All right. So stay calm and stay the course. Scott Bessent had this to say about China imposing 84% tariffs in retaliation to the 104% tariff that was imposed in retaliation to the other tariffs that were in retaliation to the other tariffs. This is Scott Bessent.
Our allies, Japan, South Korea, India, and, I will note that they are all around China. We have Vietnam coming today.
Yeah.
So everyone is coming to the table, and basically China's surrounded.
Ooh, you're surrounded. You're surrounded. Be a good idea to make a deal, wouldn't it? Hey, we got a lot more to talk about on the way. I want to talk about some border updates. Trump to fine illegal aliens that stay in the country. We'll cover that and more. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, a bill that would allow an open carry permit for shotguns and rifles has gone down in defeat. News Channel 5 says 2 Republicans voted with Democrats to defeat it in the Senate Judiciary Committee. But the House version of the legislation still alive, scheduled to be heard in the Judiciary Committee as soon as today. And now there's this.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump's sweeping new round of tariffs now in effect, and the markets have been up and down all morning long. Right now, the Dow is up 88 points. ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers has more on what the president is telling others about the reaction to his trade policy.
President Trump appeared to be working to calm investors' nerves Wednesday morning as his latest round of tariffs went into effect, including 104% tariffs on Chinese imports. The president posting on social media, quote, "Be cool. Everything is going to work out well." He also said this is a great time to buy stocks. Despite the volatility on Wall Street and calls from even his own supporters to pause the tariffs, the president showing no signs of backing down, telling Republican lawmakers Tuesday night,
I know what the hell I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and you know what I'm doing, too. That's why you vote for me.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Walmart and Delta Airlines, two companies scrapping projected growth because of uncertainty over tariffs.
Now, well, Congressman Scott Desjardins earlier this morning with WTN's Dan Mandis says, don't panic.
Our debt is unsustainable, so we wanted somebody to come in and shake things up. Well, things have been shook up, and I just try to remind people that when you're going to quit printing money, quit borrowing money, quit giving away money, it's got to come from somewhere, and everybody's going to have to absorb some of that if we're going to get back on track.
A pretrial hearing taking place in Idaho today to discuss the evidence in the case of 4 University of Idaho students killed in 2022 in the rental house. Brian Kohberger charged with murdering them. Both prosecutors and defense attorneys will be present at today's hearing. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer explains the process of a hearing like this one.
When it comes to evidentiary hearings, the prosecution's goal is trying to admit as much damning evidence as possible, while the defense is attempting to limit how much evidence comes in that is detrimental to their case.
25 new sounds are being added to the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress, says Mike Dubusky.
New entries to the National Recording Registry range from Elton John's 1973 album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road to Celine Dion's Titanic hit My Heart Will Go On. But it's not all music. Chuck Thompson's broadcast of Game 7 of the 1960 World Series, and even Microsoft's Windows 95 startup sound, all now a part of the Library of Congress.
And to get Brother Chris's bumper music in there. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Patriots over there. We love those guys. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us live on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Over on the YouTube chat, they were complimenting my haircut. I got a fresh cut. Got it a couple days ago. I don't know what took them so long to give me the compliments.
All right, buddy. Good looking wig snap.
They, over on the YouTube chat, they were asking where I go.
I told them to hold off for a little bit. Don't need to boost your ego too much.
I go to Midtown Barbershop. Unfortunately, there's no singing allowed.
Oh, man.
So if that's your thing, you could talk to Murphy. He has recommendations in the singing barbershop area.
Nice, nice.
But, no, shout out to the YouTube chat. Shout out to everybody engaging with the show, however you may do it, whether it's on the YouTube chat or X or Facebook or on the text line or the phone lines at 615-737-9986. We appreciate you guys. We really do. The show would be nothing without y'all. So Trump and illegal aliens. They sent a notice to everybody that came in with the CBP1 app. And they said, you got to go. You're no longer allowed here. You need to leave. And they said you need to leave immediately. Breitbart has this story. Migrants paroled under the Biden-era CBP1 app ordered to leave immediately. Now, they got a little push notification. Hey, time to go. Time to pack up. Pack up. The Department of Homeland Security ordered migrants who received immigration parole under the Biden-era CBP1 app to leave the United States immediately. Now, since its inception, almost a million migrants, newcomers, if you will, were granted immigration parole under the app, and they have now essentially canceled all of it. They say canceling these paroles is a promise kept to the American people to secure our borders and protect national security. DHS officials said in a response to an inquiry from the Associated Press. In an email to a Honduran migrant family who entered the U.S. in late 2024, DHS officials stated, "It's time for you to abandon the United States." Other migrants were sharing their messages on social media, and they were getting these notices sent via the recently relaunched CBP Home app, which is just a thing of beauty, the way they do this. So it was the CBP One app, now it's the CBP Home app, and they got these notifications that said, you got to go. You got to go. And a lot of these migrants were sharing this online. In a statement on Monday, DHS officials said the Biden administration used immigration parole authority more than any president since it was created in 1952. Officials said the use of CBP-1 to grant blanket parole to migrants further fueled the worst border crisis in the history of the United States. They're absolutely right. Last night, Donald Trump is at the NRCC dinner, the National Republican Congressional Committee dinner. And he was talking about all the things that he's had to deal with since he got into office. And the border invasion was top of mind. And he said, what the opponents of the America First agenda have done to us is nothing short of treason. And I think this is just important to note. He doesn't drop the T word very often, does Donald Trump. He'll call them corrupt. He'll call them crooked. But he dropped the T word last night.
Our opponents are not afraid that our America First policies will fail. They're terrified that our strategy will succeed and we're going to get bigger and stronger and better as a party. And that's what's happening. And that is what's happening. It's going to be something. And I'm actually looking forward to the midterms. I really are. We're going to prove that all of their treasonous years of betrayal will not be forgotten, because it's treason. What they did is treason. When they allowed millions of people to pour in through open borders from all over the world, they came. To me, that's treason.
Yep.
What they've done to our country is unthinkable. The money we have to spend to take people out, and then we have judges that say, no, let Trende Araqua come back into our country. They want him to come back in. Killers. They cut off a man's.
Yeah, they want him. They want him to come back. That's not happening. Shout out to the Supreme Court, everybody except for Amy and the Liberals. Is that a good band name? Amy and the Libs.
I don't want to say it's good because of who's attached to it, but that's pretty good.
It's probably awful music that will be force-fed.
Yeah.
Amy and the Libs. Despite Amy and the Libs, the Supreme Court handed down some decisive victories. And the Trump administration is not stopping. So we catalog that they've sent the notification, the little push notification, you got to leave. hey, it's Donald, your time here is up. You have to go home, to everybody that had the CBP Home app. And now the Trump administration is also discussing a fine. They're going to move to fine illegal aliens $998 per day if they don't self-deport. Some quick napkin math puts that at around $364,000 per year. That's going to be the fine if you stay in the country illegally. This is pretty aggressive. I don't know if that is what the average cost of an illegal alien is to the country every year, but this is pretty significant. The Trump administration is planning to fine illegal immigrants who don't self-deport from the U.S. just under $1,000 per day that they remain in the country. Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told Fox News illegal aliens should use the CBP Home app to self-deport and leave the country now. If they don't, they will face consequences. This includes a $998 per day fine every day that the illegal alien overstayed their final deportation order. Now, are the illegal aliens going to pay this fine? Probably not. Probably not. But I love the aggressive approach. And maybe, just maybe, it will make a small percentage of those illegal aliens who have not yet self-deported second guess this and say, okay, enough is enough. Time for us to leave. One can hope. A senior Trump official told Reuters that the administration plans to use a 1996 law to apply retroactive penalties on illegal aliens for up to 5 years, which could result in fines over $1 million. I wonder if the left is going to use the same talking points that they used on the Alien Invasion Act, the Alien Enemies Act. Oh, it's such an old law. How could you be dusting off the books and pulling out an old law? Maybe this one's not too old, 1996, maybe. But it'd be about $1 million if you stay for up to 5 years. The outlet, which reviewed government emails, said the administration is also considering seizing the property of the illegal aliens who do not pay fines. Thank you. That'd be good. Trump first used the law under his first term to levy hundreds of thousands of dollars against 9 migrants, though the administration withdrew the penalties and instead imposed fines of around $60,000 per person for at least 4 of those migrants. Joe Biden ceased issuing fines when he took office. Shocker. Are you shocked by that? No, of course not. A flyer obtained by Fox News outlined the benefits and the consequences of self-deporting, including the massive fines. Self-deportation is safe. Leave on your own terms by picking your departure flight, the flyer stated. Those who self-deport would receive the benefit of being able to keep money that they earned in America, being able to have future eligibility for legal immigration, and possibly subsidized flights if they cannot afford to leave on their own. Those who fail to self-deport would be apprehended by DHS with no opportunity to get your affairs in order beforehand. They could face the $998 per day fine, as well as a fine of $1,000 to $5,000 for failing to self-deport after claiming that you will. The White House's push for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection to handle the fines and property seizures. However, a memo from CBP has said that ICE should take the task on, as CBP's systems would not be able to support implementing the fines. We'll keep you updated on this story. It is absolutely fascinating. And the meanwhile, the ball keeps rolling for the Trump administration. They're continuing to work when it comes to illegal aliens. We mentioned a story last week where ICE was asking for information from the IRS in regards to the whereabouts of illegal aliens in the country. And the IRS wasn't sure if they were going to do that, share that information. Well, the IRS has now agreed to permit ICE access to taxpayer information in an effort to locate illegal immigrants subject to deportation from the U.S. And I believe last week when we were doing this story, it was around, 700,000 suspected illegal aliens are in the IRS system. And a Treasury Department spokesperson told Fox News the IRS and ICE have entered into a memorandum of understanding to establish a clear and secure process to support law enforcement's efforts to combat illegal immigration. The basis for this MOU are founded in longstanding authorities granted by Congress, which serve to protect the privacy of law-abiding Americans while streamlining the ability to pursue criminals. After 4 years of Joe Biden flooding the nation with illegal aliens, President Trump's highest priority is to ensure the safety of the American people. So that way things like getting rear-ended on 24 don't happen to to individuals. That'd be nice. The agreement will allow ICE to submit the names and addresses of illegal immigrants to the IRS, which will then check those illegal immigrants' tax records and provide ICE with a current address. Those targeted would reportedly be those who have not left the U.S. after a 90-day order from the judge. So this request was originally put in February. DHS asked the IRS for contact information on these 700,000 illegals. The IRS pushed back, and the then acting Commissioner Doug O'Donnell declined the request, and then he resigned the next day. Just wanted to make it harder on the Trump administration. Well, listen, you slowed him down, but you didn't stop him. That's happening. Yesterday, we also saw President Trump at the NRCC talking about the enforcement that's been stepped up on the border. And, you can't discount what this president has done. And at the very least, the demagnetization that has taken place has been absolutely massive.
During the same period last year, Joe Biden released more than 184,000 illegal aliens into our country. Think of it. Many of these people were from jails and mental institutions, as I said. Since my inauguration, we've released a grand total of nine.
It's a big difference.
They were all, in all cases, medical emergencies.
That's a decent reason.
We did that for medical emergency reasons. Last month, we officially designated Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And thanks to the Supreme Court yesterday, and today we had a big ruling, too. We had a very big ruling today. But we will continue to deport these monsters under the Alien Enemies Act. Think of that, Alien Enemies Act. Can you believe it?
I wish that he had said, thanks to the Supreme Court, not you, Amy. Thanks to the Supreme Court, we're going to continue deporting these monsters. Amy Coney Barrett is the biggest disappointment on the Supreme Court. I can't get over how disappointing she has been. And I'm not going to get over it for a while, just full disclosure. So they're going to keep going after these terrorists. Let's call them what they've now been designated, terrorists, the Tren de Aragua, the MS-13, the drug cartels. They're foreign terrorist organizations now. And when you become a foreign terrorist organization, well, you open yourself up to a funny little thing called drone strikes. Yep, drone strikes. And it's being reported that drone strikes are now officially on the table. The Trump admin is weighing the use of drone strikes against Mexican drug cartels, according to a report. This is from NBC News. The talks are still early. Officials from the White House, the Defense Department, and intelligence agencies have reportedly been discussing options, which include drone strikes on cartel leaders and supply chains inside Mexico, possibly with Mexico's support. 6 current and former U.S. military, law enforcement, and intelligence officials with knowledge of the matter told NBC News. So, unnamed sources, got it. But drone strikes have been discussed for a while. They say it's unclear if U.S. officials have formally presented any drone strike plans to Mexico. But they're on the table. They're on the table. And the Post-Millennial says if both countries work together, it wouldn't be the first time they've teamed up against the cartels. U.S. military and intelligence have cooperated with Mexico's army and police in the past, but using drones like this, well, that would be a new can of worms. This would be new territory, and it would possibly involve more U.S. personnel. Officials and Trump nominees, they haven't ruled this out in public comments. Meanwhile, the U.S. military and the CIA have been flying more surveillance missions over Mexico to gather information for a possible campaign. These flights are happening with permission from the Mexican president. I have long said I'm not going to get all behind the hysteria of a war with Iran. I feel like that's a forever war and one that I'm not going to support. However, if you want me to support a war, drone striking Mexican cartels is a war that I will gladly support. 100%. Yep. Sign me up. Sign me up. As a guy who has seen firsthand the devastation of the narcotics that have been sent over that southern border. Yep, I'm for it. I'm for it. When you know how much money these cartels are making. Yep, I'm here for it. Drone strike them all. Drone strike them all. We'll let you know as these plans progress, and who knows, maybe we'll find out one day, one random Wednesday at 2 a.m. that something happened. That's probably how it's going to look. But they're looking to build a target deck. One former official said targets could include cartel members, vehicles, warehouses, and other parts of the network. Get the whole network, please. Signed, the American people. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hannon. I want to talk to you about my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Do you have health insurance? If you answered no, you need to call Shane Ring. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? If you answered yes, you need to call Shane Ring. See, Shane Ring has over 20 years of experience in health insurance, and he's going to shop the entire market for you to find the best plan. He has over 75 different companies to shop from. That is not the same with some of these call center agents that you might be on the phone with talking about health insurance. These guys have limited coverage options. Shane does not. Shane will look at the entire market for you. And no matter what your health situation is or income level is, he's confident that he can be saving you some money. So don't let yourself or somebody you know get taken advantage of by the call center agents. Shane could easily be saving you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. And some of these plans that Shane can get you on will even pay you when you use them. It's not too good to be true. Call Shane Ring today. He'll break it all down for you in a way that you can understand. 615-465-0023. Or you can always hit his website, covernash.com. I say it all the time. I'm a phone call guy. 615-465-0023 to get on the phone with Shane and book an appointment today. Get a quality health plan managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
An open carry bill goes down in flames in the Tennessee General Assembly. I've got that story and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filters, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. You can watch us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Hit the like button while you're there. Hit the share button. Send the show to your friends. Do all the things. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram, at ChrisHandonAir. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. And then podcasts, Apple and Spotify. That's all the things. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. Donald Trump, he's aiming to make energy great again. He's going all in on coal. And this might upset your average leftist who believes in the Green New Scam. And I would just want to point out, you know who's going all in on coal also? Yeah, it's China. It's China. Do you know who does coal cleaner than China? That's us. That's us. But he's going all in on coal. He said, we're ending Joe Biden's war against clean, beautiful coal. And he said that yesterday in front of a group of miners, not to be confused with the last president and the miners that he would surround himself with. But these guys are actually working in the mines. And he said, we're ending the war on coal.
Today, we're taking historic action to help American workers, miners, families, and consumers. We're ending Joe Biden's war on beautiful, clean coal once and for all. And it wasn't just Biden, it was Obama, and there were others. But we're doing the exact opposite. And all those plants that have been closed are going to be opened. If they're modern enough, or they'll be ripped down and brand new ones will be built. And we're going to put the miners back to work. And I said I was going to do this. And I've said it loud and clear. And it's time to do it. And we need it.
Amen. Put the miners back to work. Again, different from how other countries are putting miners to work. See, in China, they need the little hands. So we're talking about coal miners. So I just want to clarify so there's no confusion in the audience. He signed that executive order seeking to increase domestic coal energy production as well as designate coal as a mineral. The president is looking to increase energy production in the United States. This move is both to insulate the U.S. against overseas energy tumult and create more energy to fuel the AI sector. And he was talking about AI yesterday. He's like, do you understand how much electricity we're going to need for AI? It is wild. We're already producing the most electricity that we have in the longest time ever, and we're going to need to more than double it to keep up with the demands of AI.
Produce energy the likes of which nobody's seen before. You know, we need to do the AI, all of this new technology that's coming online. We need more than double the energy, the electricity that we currently have. You take all of the electricity in the country right now for houses, for buildings, for everything. We need to more than double it to be number one. We're now way ahead of everybody at AI. China's in second place, but way behind. And they're going to be producing a lot of energy and a lot of electricity for this.
Yeah, they will, and they're turning to coal as well. Again, we need to do coal. We're going to do it cleaner than anywhere else in the world. Let's make no mistake about it, and it needs to happen. Donald Trump says, "Listen, we're done. We are done dealing with the leftist new green scam," and he slammed the new green scam a couple of times yesterday during this press conference with these coal miners. But it was him taking jabs at Joe Biden, which was really the highlight of the entire press conference, and he made everybody chuckle with this one.
For 4 long years, Joe Biden and Congressional Democrats tried to abolish the American coal industry. They did everything in their power while he was awake, which wasn't much, shutting down.
I love that guy. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Here in Tennessee, a bill that would allow permit holders carry shotguns and rifles in public, except for schools, government buildings, and parks, essentially died in a Senate Judiciary Committee vote today. This is some of the reasons why at least 2 Republicans siding with Democrats to do it.
It's been a problem in these other states. People carrying around, large rifle, high-capacity style weapons in front of schools, in front of churches, in front of synagogues.
News Channel 5 says the House version of this open carry rifle and shotgun legislation is still alive, but the defeat in the Senate has likely doomed it for this year. President Biden's sweeping new round of tariffs in effect, targeting dozens of countries, including several of the U.S. most prominent trade partners. 4th District Congressman Scott Desjardins went on WTN's Dan Manda's show this morning. He said it's like a game. You call a play, hope it works, and if it doesn't, you run another play.
I hate that people get squishy and squirmy. Am I a little nervous? Yes, but do I have a better idea? Not necessarily. And I think most of these people that are nosed, if you ask them, well, what's your plan? They don't really have one. They just think there's probably a better one.
Now, Brian Clark with Who's Getting Nervous.
Walmart is scrapping its projected growth for the quarter, citing a need for flexibility. But the retailer left its yearly guidance unchanged for now. Delta, the nation's most profitable airline, did not. Delta scrapping its projected yearly growth and also shelving planned expansion for the second half of the year. The airline says bookings are down.
A dramatic rescue of an Illinois firefighter during a house fire caught on camera. Here's Rhiannon Alley.
Newly released body camera video captures the moment. A home in Christopher, Illinois exploded, collapsing the porch roof and trapping firefighter Richard Jackson, already there responding to a fire. First responders and Good Samaritans rushing in to lift debris from the explosion off of him.
All I could see was legs and faces and hands grabbing a hold of me and pulling me out.
Somehow Jackson suffered only minor injuries.
And for that, we're thankful. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friend Jason Whitlock and Roll Call 3.0 that's coming to the Nashville area. This is going to be a really cool event. May 2nd and 3rd in Nashville. Join Jason Whitlock and Tucker Carlson for Roll Call 3.0. It's going to be the ultimate gathering for bold, faith-driven men who are ready to fight for truth in today's culture. We need more men stepping up, and this event's going to equip you for that. Friday night, May 2nd, kicks off with a VIP event at 3rd and Lindsley, featuring an exclusive conversation between Whitlock and Tucker. If you've never seen Tucker live, you're in for a treat. There's also going to be country music and stand-up comedy. Then Saturday at Rocketown, you can get ready for powerful speakers like my pastor, Alan Jackson, Doug Wilson, Corey Brooks, and more. And if you want to meet Tucker Carlson or grab a premium all-access pass, you need to do it quick because spots are extremely limited and they are running out. Tickets start at just $99, but this event is definitely going to sell out. Get your tickets now at fearlessrollcall.com. It's time to step up, speak out, be fearless. Fearlessrollcall.com. 36 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Thank you for listening however you may be, whether you're on the apps or the FM dial. Appreciate you watching on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Hit like, hit share, and make sure you're subscribed. We do appreciate it when you do. Senator Elizabeth Warren, she's out there. She's out there very upset. She is beside herself. I just found out she wasn't a real Indian. I didn't know that. Shocking.
What?
I know. She is very upset. She says nobody wants to invest in America. That's weird. That's an interesting take, because if you look at private investment in the country, we've seen more in 12 weeks than Joe Biden's entire 4 years. We actually saw business leaders saying we wanted to invest sooner, but Joe Biden was your president. So it's kind of interesting. But this is the current state of the left.
Rhyme or reason to the numbers is just creating economic chaos. And when there's economic chaos, no one wants to make investments in the United States to build more manufacturing, to build more good jobs here in America.
Oh, weird. Listen, if you had been right about one thing over the past few decades, maybe I would give what you say a little bit more of a fair shake. But the fact of the matter is, this can be debunked so quickly. I just said it a moment ago. We have had more private investment in the first 12 weeks of the Trump presidential term than we had in 4 years under Joe Biden. Is that bad? Let me check my notes. No, it says here that's good. Oh, weird. That's the current state of the left, though. And it's this culture of whining and complaining and never offering any ideas. They can never build up a new idea. They just have to tear others down. That's the culture of the left. In a nutshell. You get Democrats like Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer and AOC and Jasmine Crockett and Bernie Sanders, and all they do is complain. All they do is yell, "Orange man bad." Trump last night actually brought up Jasmine Crockett at the NRCC, the National Republican Congressional Committee dinner, and he said, "How about that new Democrat star, Jasmine Crockett?"
The Democrats have taken a lot of beatings. They have lost their confidence. They've gone crazy. How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? Is that real? Are they serious about that? That's their new star? If that's their new star, they're in serious trouble. I mean, this is Crockett. Oh, man. But we've done a job, but they've totally lost their confidence.
Yeah, I think that's the nicest way of putting it. They lost their minds. They're suffering from severe cases of TDS. I love that he brings up Crockett. We've been highlighting her. It does seem like the Democrat Party wants to make Jasmine Crockett the new star. And don't interrupt your enemies while they're making a mistake. I played this clip yesterday, but I think it warrants playing it again given the comments from President Trump last night. But Jasmine Crockett was trying to say that the deportations are racist, and she illustrated her points by saying we need illegal aliens to pick cotton because black people don't want to do that anymore. What?
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I like the guy in the background. I know that's right. I know that's right. You can't pay me enough. Most of it's done by machine anyway, for the record. Let the record state most of that is done by machine now. So we don't need illegal aliens to pick the cotton. But this is just in line with what the Democrats do, right? They say that Trump is evil and he's racist because if he gets rid of the illegal aliens, who's going to pick our cotton? Who's going to clean our toilets? Who's going to work in the hotels? And then they just, as long as they say Trump is racist first, it seems like it gives them leeway to say the most outlandish racist things that they can come up with, right? It's just orange man bad, so we get a pass on anything we say after this. Is that how it works? That's the current insanity of the left. And I'll be honest with you, Jasmine Crockett, Elizabeth Warren, they're not even as bad as some of these people. The new poll came out, 55% of leftists think it's okay to kill President Trump.
What?
You didn't hear that?
No.
55% of left-leaning Americans say it's. Let me clean it up. They don't think it's okay to kill Trump. They think it's somewhat justified.
Jeez.
I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
Calls to assassinate and positive attitudes about killing public figures such as President Donald Trump and others have become more normalized in the United States, according to a shocking new report with a rise of assassination culture happening particularly on the left. Shocker. According to a poll done by the Network Contagion Research Institute, NCRI, a growing number of people are fine, justifying, or will even celebrate political assassination, and the change appears to have taken place recently. These people are mentally broken, and you can see it. You can see it in the selfie videos that they post online just in time for the tears to start flowing and to say, what is going on in our country? Somebody help us. Trump is so bad and so evil. Will somebody do something? Do something. Wink. You gonna do something? And then they'll offer things like letters and money on the books should you be arrested. It's wild. But this report just highlights the insanity that we've been seeing and quantifies it, really. I mean, you know if you're on social media that these leftists feel this way. It's been shown time and time again, but this report, again, just quantifies it. The report states political violence targeting Donald Trump and Elon Musk is becoming increasingly normalized. Following the July 13th, 2024 assassination attempt of President Trump, tolerance and even advocacy for political violence appears to have surged, especially among politically left-leaning segments of the population. Remember when we were going to dial back the rhetoric, and then it was like a couple weeks later, Joe Biden was calling us all trash? Remember the rhetoric was getting a bit too hot, and we had to calm down because, the back of the president's head was almost blown off. I remember that, and apparently the leftists don't. Leftists are just fine. And this survey was conducted of over 1,200 U.S. adults. 38% of those that responded said it would be at least somewhat justified to kill President Trump. 31% said the same thing about the prospect of murdering Elon Musk. That's okay, right? That's fine. When those responses were narrowed only to left-wing survey takers, the majority of them, 55%, said it would be somewhat justified to murder President Trump. And that number jumped to 48% for Musk. Joel Finkelstein, the lead author on the NCRI report, told Fox News, what was formerly taboo culturally has become acceptable. We're seeing a clear shift, glorification, increased attempts, and changing norms, all converging into what we define as assassination culture. Trump represents the perfect target for assassination culture. He's powerful, he's rich, he's provocative. That puts him on the highest shelf for those who glorify political violence. The report continued, saying that an increase in assassination culture expands on the broader trend NCRI identified in two December 2024 reports, which analyzed how viral social media narratives were legitimizing political violence, particularly in the aftermath of the United Healthcare CEO's assassination. They're glorifying. They're quite literally writing bills in California with Luigi Mangione in mind. It's insane. And then you see what's happening at the Tesla dealerships and the support that's getting, the cheers on the Daily Show for domestic terrorism. We've seen all of this over and over and over. The rate of endorsing political violence was significantly higher on the left versus the right. Color me shocked. Weird. Weird. I wouldn't have guessed that. I'm learning that for the first time. What we found was a statistically higher endorsement of political murder on the left, 41% more than among right-leaning participants. I thought wasn't white nationalists the biggest threat to America, right? The biggest danger. Looks here, at least as far as politicians are concerned, it's the far left that we need to worry about. They are A-OK with killing people. But we see this throughout their entire culture. Their entire culture on the left is just built around tearing down, not building up. They don't create new things, and they do just the most ridiculous stuff. There was an art contest. Michael Moore was talking about this. They participated in this big art contest, and Michael Moore thanked his fans for in art turning Donald Trump's mouth and face into a literal butthole in a bizarre portrait contest that the 70-year-old filmmaker claims is truly impressive. This is the culture of the left. This is their culture. I don't know what to do with it. And their culture is so in the drain right now. They're actually having debates. The leftists are. They're having debates on if carving a swastika in a Tesla should be a hate crime. Yes. Recent incidents of vandalism targeting Tesla vehicles with swastikas has raised questions among leftists about the limits and interpretation of hate crime laws. As violence and domestic terrorism by Trump haters against Elon Musk and Tesla escalate, many on the left are trying to excuse extreme acts of vandalism. This is from Breitbart, and they're covering a New York Times story here that reported that in recent weeks, they've had a lot of vandalism, swastikas being carved into Teslas. You've seen it online. It's been happening a lot in New York City, and it has sparked a complex debate among leftists about the definition and application of hate crime laws. While the use of swastikas should be considered anti-hate crime, right? Given that it's Nazi Germany and all the things that come with it. Leftists are saying, well, this is a little different now. It's not a hate crime when we do it. It's not a hate crime when we do it. I am in favor of getting rid of hate crime laws, period. I don't know if you do crimes against people you love, personally, but I think all that stuff is dumb. But this is the current state of the left. Everything is racist except for the racist things I say. Everything is racist except for the racist things that I do. Everything's a hate crime except when I do them. And look at this picture I drew of Donald Trump where it's a literal butthole instead of his face. Oh, by the way, we're totally cool if you want to kill Elon and Trump. That's the current state of the left. Don't interrupt your enemies while they're making a mistake. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:54, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Better Water LLC sponsors the show. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. In studio with Chad Benson.
Hello, everybody.
Detailing my harrowing experience from this morning.
It was harrowing.
It was.
I suggested that when he said he didn't speak English, I said he probably spoke English just fine, just didn't want to talk to you.
That's probably the truth.
No habla inglés.
As soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I was like, I might do that sometimes.
He probably got home and went, man, I tell you what, I told this guy today how to hit. I didn't speak any English. But you told us, I know I do. Jaromir Jagr, the hockey player, was great. Like, he would like, no. It's like, dude, you've been here 20 years. Everybody knows you speak English. You do 40. You just don't want to talk to somebody. You tell them you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Yeah, but you're fine. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Is you survived.
I survive. I'm a survivor.
You are.
I'm not going to give up.
No, you should get it. We're going to start wearing those little ribbons for you.
Whoa, you guys should wear ribbons for me.
Just a little, whatever kind of ribbon. I don't even know what ribbon they have from being hit by an unlicensed driver.
An illegal alien, a potential illegal alien. Is there a ribbon for that? There should be a ribbon for that.
There should be a ribbon for that.
I was hit by an illegal.
So, we're going to have the flag, not quite at half mast, just like down a notch.
3/4 mast. Yeah. Why are the flags just slightly lowered?
Chris got hit by somebody who didn't have a license and probably is not in the country illegally. Oh, that's a horrible day. That's a tragedy. We'll remember this day. We'll mark this day in infamy.
We'll light candles.
Put out one of those candles right there.
Exactly. We'll do that. What's going on with you, man? Did you get hit by any illegals on your way into work?
I did not. I walked here and I didn't see many. I just saw a bunch of people.
See, that would have been a bigger story if you got hit by an illegal on the way to work.
That would have been huge.
That would have been much bigger than what I'm dealing with.
No, there was just a lot of people out. You know what's funny? I was telling my wife, the last couple of weeks, it's been pretty dead, but man, the party buses are crazy right now. Even in the middle of the day, like 11 in the morning, there's a bunch of drunk girls.
Woo girls.
Yeah.
We call them the woo girls.
Yeah, but it's such an odd, it's like a Tuesday afternoon,
Yep.
like what?
Oh, yeah.
Like you guys couldn't come on the weekend?
No, those are the discount woo girls.
The discount.
They fly
Some
in,
of them are the moo girls, too.
Yeah, they are. They fly in midweek. They get those cheaper rates.
Did you get a grouping?
Honestly.
Oh, that's so funny. But there's also a lot of people, too. I see a lot of the like German and French and everybody walking around. Look at all the country music stuff.
The French.
Yeah, the French.
Ugh.
The French, you know who you are, the French, you're crazy. But so it's getting a little busy out there. But I didn't get hit by anybody.
That's good.
I had to walk in, get myself ready for whatever it is we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, what are you putting the focus on today? I'm assuming that you're a huge fan of tariffs. You love them.
Fan of tariffs. I couldn't get any more excited.
You wanted more tariffs.
Yeah.
I thought when the news broke, Chad said the only thing that I'm disappointed is that
tariffs.
these are too low.
I don't understand some of the tariffs. Some of them I just shake my head and go, what?
Like Penguin Island?
Penguin Island's weird. Like we're tariffing, like who was it? I saw Miller saying, we have a deficit with, Japan and Korea, like $50 million when it comes to their cars or something. I'm like, yeah, because they don't buy our cars. They don't have a tariff on our cars. They don't buy them. Our cars are too big.
Well, but you also have the trade barriers. So it's like to import an American-made car, like they like Chevys and they like Fords and things like that, but to import them costs like an extra $20K.
But they don't like our cars.
But some of them do.
Because the problem is
there's quite a few English teachers over there that would buy themselves a Ford.
Our stuff is not built for there, and we forget they have Fords over there. Like I drove a Ford Fiesta.
You can absolutely make the argument on the roads. Yeah. I hear you there, but there's definitely some barriers.
But there is zero tariffs when it comes to automotive for Korea and Japan. But they love Japanese and Korea. By the way, Japan loves Japanese cars. Koreans love Koreans cars, and they like the gas and the way that the gas. They just think the American cars are much heavier too and it eats up gas. Our gas is super cheap comparatively to a lot of other places around the world. And I know that even with taxes and the insanity. But yeah, I was like, I really want more tariffs. I was like, man, we should be hitting out hardcore with tariffs. Like, I hope 700%. I heard Kevin O'Leary say 400%, 700%.
Well, that's
a million.
Rookie numbers.
1,000,000%. That's what I would do. 1,000,000%. By the way, if you're a business and you're doing business in China, you are done. You can't. Well, I would just go after the businesses too.
But where's I think we do have to go after businesses when it comes to hiring some illegal aliens. I think that'd be great personally. But I think that Where was the energy, though, from the left worrying about small businesses when they shut everything down for COVID and we saw the greatest wealth transfer in history?
Or our transitory inflation. Where
Honestly,
was that? There was none of that crap.
There's no energy. They don't give a damn. They're using it as a talking point.
That's I'd expected the Democrats would do that. I expect Republicans would have done that, but they don't have any answers either.
No.
I mean, they don't. And
they don't have any. But the Democrats also don't have any ideas.
No, they got none. Well, they no, they don't really. I was thinking, do they have an idea? No, none.
Their greatest talking point is Orange Man bad.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. Elon bad.
And they're not Dodgers fans anymore.
No, they're no longer Dodger fans. You hear that Dodger fan freaking out, screaming about the Dodgers going to the White House, tearing their shirt off, yelling, taking the shirt off the dog. You effing Dodgers, F you Ohtani, F yeah. It was so awesome.
Was he that upset when Ohtani got caught gambling?
Well, or his first. God, that guy. How do you have that dude gambled $30 million away of yours?
Yo, Ohtani had something to do with that, and the MLB went, well, he can't lose a big star.
I don't know if Ohtani had anything.
$30 million of your money goes missing.
So I don't know. Maybe, but I don't think.
Are you a Dodgers fan?
Oh yeah, I was born and raised in LA.
Yeah,
I'm
it
a
is.
Dodger fan.
There it is.
I think that, by the way, I've always thought they should make them all gamble. You guys should be gambling your paychecks every night on win or lose. Let's see how hard. Let's see if you try to stretch out that single, into a double. All right. Let's see. Put some work in.
Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 12 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers got a crash in Jolton. It's blocking the left lane 24 westbound right before Whites Creek Pike. And then another crash off on the right shoulder 65 southbound before I-24 downtown. Here in Tennessee, open carry permit holders would be able to take long guns like rifles and shotguns almost anywhere under a bill that just died in the state Senate after 2 Republicans sided with Democrats to reject it in the Judiciary Committee.
I love guns, but there's a place for guns, and it's not walking down Main Street with a AK or whatever it is.
Yeah, the bill is still alive in the House, but defeat in the Senate has likely doomed it for the year. A family demanding answers after a grave mishap during a burial. Andrew Dembert.
Family in Pennsylvania outraged after this grave mistake at their loved one's burial. Pallbearers were making their way through the cemetery in Philadelphia. Then the unimaginable. As they put down the casket, the platform around the site collapses, sending the men tumbling into the grave.
It was just a horrible incident that happened in a bad moment.
Family and friends rushed to help the men, some of whom were trapped under the weight of the casket carrying Benjamin Aviles. Aviles was eventually laid to rest, but the family wants an apology and a refund for what they say were subpar conditions at the burial site.
Now, the funeral home has not responded to the family's claims. Get a load of this out of Missouri. A foster mom is under investigation after allegedly abusing a teenager and then trading her for an exotic monkey. It's unclear how old the teenager is. Court records indicate she's under 17. NBC says the foster mom charged in the case, 70-year-old Brenda Deutsch, had fostered more than 200 children over the years. 25 new sounds being added to the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress. Among them, the startup chime from Microsoft's Windows 95 operating system. Money News, Mike Dubusky.
President Trump said, be cool, and financial markets are somewhat cool. After days of volatility, the major indexes mixed in morning trading, despite new tariffs and new uncertainty in the trade war. The latest escalation came as China slapped 84% tariffs on all U.S. imports in response to U.S. reciprocal tariffs of 104% on Chinese goods. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said it's unfortunate the Chinese actually don't want to negotiate. The secretary said talks will take place today with Vietnam and with South Korea, India, Japan, and the UK coming soon, that those talks could give CEOs greater certainty. Right now, corporate uncertainty having an impact. Walmart pulled its quarterly financial guidance, citing a need for flexibility. Delta went further. The airline pulled its yearly guidance and shelved plans to expand capacity later this year, saying it's seen demand soften.
Right now, I'm seeing a rally on Wall Street. The Dow up.
Go team, go! Go team, go! Go team, go!
Dow up 500. S&P up 75. NASDAQ up 367. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.